Welcome back, guys. Today's video covers the story of Fullmetal Alchemist episodes number 3 to 5. Enjoy. Elric brothers' search for the Philosopher's Stone leads them to Lior. Alphonse breaks a shop owner's radio. Edward fixes it with his transmutation. People here are surprised because most of them are aware of alchemy, but some do recognize them as Fullmetal alchemists. People mistake Alphonse for the Fullmetal alchemist. The radio is broadcasting Priest Cornella's preaching. The priest came to the town a few years ago and began preaching. Cornello is also rumored to resurrect the dead. That's pretty sus, the brothers think. The brothers see the priest performing his miracles. Cornello's use of alchemy doesn't follow the standard rules, which leads them to think that he was using the Philosopher's Stone. They visit the temple of their god Leto, and they find a follower praying. Elric shares his atheistic beliefs. The believer sees this as blasphemy. Elric requests the lady to help him find him, and she's eager to help. Meanwhile, the priest is already aware of the Elric brothers' arrival. They see them as threats and plan to get rid of them to carry about their plans. They lure the brothers into a trap, but Edward and Alphonse are too skilled for the peasants. Cornello arrives and tries to fool the brothers into thinking his alchemy is nothing but a miracle. But Elric is already aware of the priest's foul play. Elric knows that the priest's ring is a Philosopher's Stone. The priest tastes Rose's faith by telling her to pick up the pistol and shoot the brothers. Persuaded by the priest, Rose picks up and aims at Elric. Oh, wait, wrong Elric again. Rose shoots Alphonse's head off. But both Rose and the priest are surprised to see Alphonse is just a soul bound to a set of armor. The priest releases his Chimera. Chimera goes for Elric's legs but breaks his claws against his metal legs. The priest pieces together that the Elrics have performed a human transmutation before. The priest tells Rose about the taboo the Elric brothers have committed. Rose finally understands Edward's ambitions and his lack of faith in God. Alphonse tells the priest to hand over the Philosopher's Stone, but the priest fights back, transmitting a machine gun. Alphonse and Edward escape with Rose. After escaping, Rose wants to know about the things that happened to them. Alphonse tells about their past experiment and what they lost trying to bring their mother back. Yet Rose stays faithful to the priest. Elric broke into the priest's office and talks about what the priest plans to do with the stone. Cornello plans to use the stone to preach his religion and build a huge army, and with that army, he plans to take over the empire. The priest falls right into Edward's trap. His devious plans have been broadcast through the speakers. All the people of the town now know the truth. Cornello infuses himself with the Philosopher's Stone's power and attacks Edward. Edward retaliates. Cornello is defeated, but the Philosopher's Stone breaks into dust. The Elrics get spoiled because of the fake stone. Rose points a gun at the brothers and demands the stone. Ed says the stone was fake, but Rose doesn't believe it. She says Ed is planning to take the stone for himself to get his mother back. Edward says that it's impossible to bring the dead. Rose is devastated by the fact that she was lied to and she could not get her husband back. Edward and Alphonse head off as the priest is being raided by the angry citizen. Cornello's escape gets cut off by lust and gluttony. Lust impales the priest through his head, instantly killing him. The next night in the state, the iron-blood alchemist Basque Grand gets ambushed by a supposedly stated alchemist killer. He swears to kill any alchemist that has opposed God. Blood Alchemist launches the first attack, but the alchemist killer dodges most of his attacks. Grand traps him in a metal chamber, but the killer breaks through it and finishes the state alchemist off. The event leaves the alchemist in a panic. Bradley comes to the scene and swears to punish the culprit. The royal guard is busy going through paperwork to find a potential suspect. Mustang commends the boys for their work at Lior. They talk about the fake stone and the possibility of the real one and its powers. Mustang suggests an alchemist named Shoe Tucker who might help them with the matter. Tucker became a state alchemist after he successfully created a chimera capable of understanding and speaking human language. However, the only sentence it uttered was, "I want to die," before it starved itself. Edward is greeted by Tucker himself, his daughter, and his dog. They talk about their interest in transmitting living organisms. Tucker wants to know why the Elrics are so interested in human transmission, and then tell what happened when they tried to bring their mother back. Tucker invites them to go through his library and his work. Mustang leaves them and both brothers go through many books. Their studies get interrupted by Nina and Alexander. While leaving, Tucker is reminded that his assessment is coming up. Tucker explains that an assessment is a yearly result report for his experiments. Tucker messed up his assessments last year and doesn't want that to happen again. The next day, Nina is talking about her mom and how her dad has been busy recently. The boys take a break to play with Nina and Alexander while Tucker is worried about the upcoming assessment. In the headquarters, Hughes and Armstrong figure out that the killer is targeting reputed alchemists. They are informed that a potential suspect was seen leaving the station this morning. Tucker's life was miserable before becoming a state alchemist. He was so poor that even his wife left him. That's why he is desperate to do well in the next assessment. Tucker promises to play with Nina the next day. The brothers make their way home the next day but can't seem to find Nina or Tucker. They finally find Tucker, and Tucker introduces them to his new creation, a chimera that understands human language. The chimera can say Edward's name. But Edward soon realizes what terrible thing has happened. Edward asks Tucker about the time he got his qualification and the time his wife left him. Both things happened 2 years ago. Edward then asks about Nina and Alexander. Edward lunges at Tucker and makes Tucker confess to the crimes he committed, toying with human life. Tucker says that he and Edward are both the same. They both toyed with human lives before. Edward unleashes himself on Tucker, but Alphonse stops him before he kills him. Tucker is fixated on him, keeping his state alchemist status even though he took his child's life. Rain pours down. Roy Mustang reminds them that the state alchemists are not much different than Tucker. They have to take lives if they are commanded to do. The event leaves Alphonse and Edward devastated, while the alchemist killer breaks into Tucker's house and kills him and puts the chimera out of its misery. Edward has a nightmare about Mom, Nina, and Alexander. Rise informs Edward and Alphonse about the death of Nina and Tucker. Roy Mustang, Hughes, and Armstrong are inspecting the crime scene. Meanwhile, Sir Cornello has turned the city into a battleground. Lust and gluttony are behind all this. They help the priest put the city in turmoil. The priest turns out to be Envy, who took Cornello's form. Envy informs Lust about Tucker and the alchemist killer. Envy speculates that the killer might go for Edward next. The state alchemist talks about how dangerous the killer now can be. He has already killed 10 alchemists and plans to kill more prominent alchemists. Mustang suddenly gets an idea of who his next target might be. Edward and Alphonse are still devastated by the recent events. Scar attacks Edward out of nowhere. Being overpowered, they try to escape, but Scar catches up to them and is left with nowhere to run. Both brothers decided to fight back, but Scarface destroys Alphonse's body and then destroys Edward's automail. Edward realizes there's nowhere left to go and asks Scarface to spare his brother. Just in the nick of time, the state alchemists arrived and surrounded Scar. Mustang wants to teach Scar by himself, but gets saved by Rise because his flame alchemy doesn't work in rain. In the meantime, Armstrong launches an ambush attack, which Scar dodges barely. Armstrong's power overwhelms Scar. Rise shots and barely manages to hit him. His glasses break and his eye color tells that he's an Ishbalan. In the last-ditch effort, Scar makes a path through the sewers and escapes. Worried, Edward runs toward Alphonse, but Alphonse bashes him for not running away when he had the chance. Alphonse explains how important it is for Edward to live, as their lives, bodies, and people like Nina are relying on him to help them. Defeated but still united, they live to fight the next day. Ishbalans are a tribe that lived in the East. 13 years ago, an officer shot and killed a child, which launched a civil war. After 7 years of war, the king united many state alchemists to exterminate the Ishbalans. They massacred the tribe, so it makes sense that an Ishbalan will try to take revenge. They plan to show Scar no mercy the next time they meet. Edward and Alphonse decide to move forward and visit Winery to fix themselves. Today's video ends here. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Take care.